Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be very happy to just provide you this Anaconda navigator or Anaconda software installation, configuration, and usage for all the IDEs that are coming with Anaconda navigator on the Rocky Linux 9 release. So this is a video that I had already made a full course on Rocky Linux 9, and this video is continuation of those ones. It is going to be a full course for Anaconda Navigator, so you will learn a lot from it, and I will just be happy to help you out here. And please just stay tuned. Yesterday or the day before yesterday, I posted this one, Anaconda on Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. This is for Rocky, and then the one that was already posted is Anaconda on Linux, Red Hat 9 Enterprise full course. That was also about 2 hours and 3 minutes. So just watch it, and then you will learn a lot from it. These two courses that I did yesterday and today I'm doing it. Today is for Anaconda on Rocky Linux, which is a continuation for this course. And this course I posted it about a year ago, and it has been watched by a lot of people. People like it, so you're welcome to watch that one just to learn Linux Rocky version. And this video was about a year ago also, which is 4 hours. This one was also watched a lot, and then a lot of people made nice comments for it. So this one is Enterprise Linux 9 on Red Hat distribution. This is a Rocky distribution, which is Fedora. Red Hat is also a Fedora distribution. So the company that was made is Red Hat now. IBM acquired it, and it acquired it, and it is based on IBM now. But Rocky Linux is open source. And the nice thing is about Rocky Linux is Greg Kurtzer. He is the founder of Rocky Linux when CentOS was end of life about 2-3 years ago. And that one, the founder, Greg, and then Rocky, they were writing Rocky version of Linux, which is open source, that was replaced a replacement for CentOS. CentOS stands for Community Enterprise Edition of Operating System, and this one, Rocky was another founder of the Rocky Linux. And the nice thing about Greg, he's a very nice guy, a nice, scholar. And then he's also my friend on LinkedIn. So I'm a member of Rocky kind of teams that we all contribute. But the nice thing about the Rocky, Greg Kurtzer just named this OS version after his best friend that is no longer with us, Rocky. So that is the nice thing about them. And then I will do more my 100% support for whatever I can do to the open source community. So this is the video I'm making it on Rocky Linux for Anaconda. And then if you are watching it, I appreciate your time. And if you're subscribing, I appreciate your subscription. Both subscription and watching is free. It is your time that you're just going to spend, but you will benefit the knowledge that you. I would appreciate if you share that knowledge with others that they need your help, and then by sharing you care. So that's why I'm sharing these ones. I want to care what your careers and your goals and the future, so we all could contribute to our communities. And then the video that I posted last time basically was about these two that I already showed you, and I already thank you. So I'm going to minimize this one, and I'm going to go to the website. And then this is my YouTube channel in English, which is, I have two channels. If you go to my website, MyWebUniversity.com, you will see the two channels, English version and Farsi version. Both of them, they will take you to the YouTube channel, and then you could watch all the videos. In addition, I have an online book that I wrote about direct path to Linux Ubuntu. And then on that book, I have about 14 chapters. Each chapters have a lot of videos, a lot of technical documentation. Chapter 2 is basic Linux Ubuntu, and chapter 3 is intermediate level. Chapter 4 is advanced. Chapter 5 is shell scripting, and chapter 6 is web programming. So a lot of the, Apache web server and so on. There's a lot of them. And then, like for example, on the chapter 10, you can see the Rocky Linux Red Hat 9. Rocky Linux 9. And then you can see all these PDF file is similar to the Linux manual pages. So like, for example, here you can see section 1 through section 9. All of them are available for it. Whatever is the manual pages, you don't have to be logged on a Linux Rocky to just see the text-based HTML. I can provide you everything in a PDF format on my website. So all you have to do is search for it, Control F here, and type in, let's say you're looking for Python, you just click on Python, and it's Python 3.1, Python 3.9, whichever one that interests you, just click on that section, and I will provide you the PDF files here. And if you just say, well, that is good, but it's only 12 pages. No, the nice thing about these pages that I had the idea of code reusability and object-oriented programming. Whenever you program on object-oriented programming, you just write code that is just smaller, so reuse other codes that's already in the system. And then by doing that one, if the documentation is well documented on the reference here, all the section that are references with other websites that have documentation for it, you could just do Control F, type in HTTPS. Notice that you can go to the PSF page of Python, python.org website, docs.python, and so on. So if I go to the python.org right there, hundreds of thousands of technical documentation under each of these sections, right? So I can go on the docs here and then search for further and there. It's like the whole internet is at your fingertips by just making sure the code reusability here. So if you're saying, what does this match statement do? You could just go ahead and do the match in case that's like a case comparison of if statement for case statement for Python. Interactive mode, how you run Python interactive mode. And I show you a lot of stuff with Anaconda. So this is a very nice tool that you could just come in on my website and then you go anywhere that you're looking for documentation. So you can download Python stuff, you can go here. At the same time, if you just click on the page here, like I said, you could search for HTTPS, Control F, type in Control F, and then type in HTTPS. And now let's say I go this time on docs.python.org, automatically take me to that page, docs.python.org. And then here I could just go to the tutorial section and start reading. And then if I just say, I'm interested on source code encoding, how it does it, you just read it, continuously see how the encoding works. If you find the if statement, how it works, in Python, if else, all of that is there. Similarly, like a for statement, a break statement, all that branching and conditioning, all of that one, Boolean expression, a for loop, and a range function, and list data structure, tuple data structure, classes, all of them are just at your fingertips, you see? So now let's go back in the Python. You say, well, this is great. If I just want to do something else, how about if I look for GCC compiler? If you look for GCC right here, again, I provided a PDF version of it. So by clicking on it, notice that this one has 679 pages. So you don't have to buy books online and then just read it. All of these things I learned it online by reading the manual pages, reading these books. I never bought these books. there. Even when I was attending computer science for my bachelor and my master degree at Cal State Fullerton, I could not afford to buy and pay the tuition. I was just working at the same time, part time, and then college work study and other stuff. And then the tuition was expensive. Sometimes I didn't have money to buy books. So all I was doing is going to the libraries. Back then in '94, I finished my bachelor. In '97, I finished my master. But I spent a lot of times at the libraries, honestly. And I spent a lot of times in front of a Unix machine or VAX VMS or C compilers or Borland C in order to learn the code and start coding it. And then at the same time, we work at the computer science lab and everything till I got an internship job and this and that. But believe it or not, a lot of these ones, you don't need to just buy books, new books. The syntax of these ones are always the same, right? So whether you write a structure or a class or anything, depending on what programming language you use, what methods are available. But notice if I click on anything like GAwk, GNU awk, or new awk, all those ones are here. So awkward programming. So you can see GAwk, there's GAwk for GNU awk, and then obviously there's more if you just go in the C also section of it, like Control F, I say C also, and then there's 34 of them. Let me just type in also. So that C also section, it says egrep. You should learn set command, get PID, get TPI, get PPID for parent process ID, get pgrep, get SU, and then at the same time, more likely, this awk is knock and GAwk and all of them are available here for this section. So you can see that is there. New awk is also sometimes GAwk and awk itself, or nowadays pointing to the symbolic link to the new awk. And so, like if I do Control F, new awk, and it is not showing up here. Maybe apparently it's not there, but the GAwk is there. So if you could just say, that one later on I'll show you on Linux manual pages. So for example, like this one, we just saw the GAwk, or you look at all of these commands that are there. So any commands that you're finding here, if you have to log into a Linux machine or Red Hat machine, or so like these ones are Red Hat machine, you can see there. And then I give credit for each one of them by MyWebUniversity is my website. I give credit to my website itself. Python programming language, which is they wrote the Python interpreter and everything is there. So I use Python coding to just do that one. And Red Hat Enterprise Linux manual pages, because that's a text-based format. So then I just had to read that one and parse it and find everything, and then put it in the format that I want to print it in a PDF file. And then the FPDF library that I use just to do this kind of work, and then make this one and put a $sign and then man the command that I search for, and then put it in the boldface, and then just put all these extra description, all details. So I had to do a lot of work, and there's a lot of Nanki encoding and things that you have to transfer and just make sure that they're readable on the browser. So all you're doing is just type in here and you just see the page. And then at the same time, whether you're Red Hat or Rocky or Linux, I just do the same thing with Ubuntu PDF here. See, if you just click on this one, then you see the manual pages says this time is Ubuntu, and then the same thing right here. So also the manual pages here, I have also chapter 12, which is dynamic generation of Linux manual pages. This one by default opens the bash, which is about 12 or 13 pages long. So it's right here, this one PDF file, and you just assume like this one. If I just want to open it, it just opens the bash stuff. And then at the same time, if I say Well, how about Node.js? Look for Node.js here, and then I just give you that. And then if you say again, can I do the same thing with HTTPS? Yes. So that's what I'm saying is that I made the whole thing internet for you available using my website. All you're doing is just come in on my website, search for the document that you want, go to HTTPS, and now you have the entire nodejs.org, which is the entire documentation. If you want to go to the document section here, just come in and click on the docs, and then just now you're in there. If you want to see like a module like HTTP, how it works, just click on it, and then that's and all these functions are available for HTTP. Similarly, if you say, how about DNS, you could just search for DNS, and that's a module for DNS and all the functions that are there, DNS related functions, so loop back and look up and resolve the comp. All of those configurations are there. At the same time, resolve name server and so on. At the same time, if you're looking for OS module, control F here, just type in OS and then search for OS, and then OS module comes in. Notice that there was net module and then OS module. Machine, if you want to just see the machine name or host name or something, there's all of these ones are there, all those functions. And all you have to do is like OS.CPUs, it shows you all the CPUs there, the model, the speed, the time, and everything. LSCPU would be the command there. So there's this technical documentation on my website that you can just come and enjoy it. And if you are a Persian person that either from Afghanistan or Iran or Tajikistan and you speak Farsi, then you're welcome to watch my YouTube channel in Farsi. And then Farsi, that I speak in Farsi, that's my mother tongue, that I was born in Kabul, Afghanistan. Karti Char was my street, and I have a lot of great friends and family members all over the earth. And then I really am happy that I'm on the US, and then at the same time, I love my country, Afghanistan, and I still want to contribute and just help out and those that needs my help. And if they or you know somebody, please share these videos so everybody could benefit it. Thank you. So let's get to the Anaconda, and then we just start this Rocky 9. And I have already started this virtual machine, Rocky 9. All I have to do is log in with my account. So I'm going to type in the password here. And this is the interface. So under activity, you can click activity, and this interface comes in. Let me move the zoom out of the way. It is blocking my eyes. So now I have the view. I can see the show application. You can click on the terminal to open the terminal. And if I just close the terminal here, the activities, you could see that there's help, and then software. You could see if you want to update software, file manager, if you want to just do explore stuff kind of things, that is very easy to use. And then at the same time, opening like a Firefox browser. So the first thing that I want to show you, I was telling you about the command lines. So everything on Linux, if you type in man pwd, it gives you a print working directory there, manual pages. But I just did that one for you in a PDF file. So man Python, it will just give you manual pages in Python. But notice all of this one is just in text-based. So you have to be logged on a Linux machine and then do man, and then followed by the command that you're looking for. And then if you search for it, HTTPS, then those are the things that I just showed you on the website. Imagine how much work I had to do generate just 11,000 HTML files, all of them are text-based or something, and then convert it to PDF and all of that. But it's all worth it because thousands of hundreds of thousands of students eventually are going to use it, and they are all benefited. Nobody has to buy books. These are open source stuff, right? So open source, the general licensing is this documentation, the general public license, GNU stuff. So it is available here. I could just make it available in PDF format, and I'm just releasing it for free. I'm not making any kind of money on it anyway. So if I just do here, ls minus l user share man, you see all these directories that are there, man something, like man1 through man9, all of those are available. So man/man question mark, it's gonna give you all those ones. If you see, for example, here, you say word count minus L, there's about 11,749. So I had to convert all of these ones from that format to just a PDF format, and then put it on my website, have a storage in there. So a lot of work, but it is available for you. Please use that resource. It is kind of very beneficial to you. So if you just go to MyWebUniversity, let me just take you to MyWebUniversity first. And then right here, and these are documentation that you can just go. For example, I'm just on a Linux Rocky right here, 9.2, and these are documentation. So like I was showing you the Python, you could do that one, right? So let's go back to this one, and we are going to do more here. So what we are doing here is first, we need to do Anaconda installation. In order to do that one, I'm going to say ID-UN. I'm logged on as Wahid. -UN means show me my ID and name. If I do ID-U, it just gave me a user ID. ID-group is going to give me a group ID. ID-A shows me all those details, including the UID and UID and name, and then group ID and group ID and name. But I could just get ID-UN, gave me Wahid, and ID-G and group name was also Wahid, right? So now I know I'm Wahid. Well, what else I need to know? I need to know what machine I'm logged on. So I type in host name, and that will tell me that I'm on this machine. And then I say cat minus etc. This one is Rocky -release. So we could type in saying that give me the Rocky release. On every Linux machine, you have some release file. And that they are like OS-release, Red Hat-release, which is in this case is symbolic link to Rocky-Linux release, and then also OS-release. So OS-release is a little bit larger because you can see symbolic link to user left OS-release. So cat -n etc OS-release, and that is going to tell me that I'm on a Rocky Linux, and then the version is 9.2. Blue Onyx is the name of the code, and it is this Red Hat CentOS Fedora distribution. Fedora is RHEL CentOS Fedora distribution. Rocky just was kind of a prior to Rocky, we were using CentOS. CentOS stands for Community Enterprise Operating System. And then now Rocky is taken over for the open source. It's really, really good product. You can see that it has a nice graphical interface, external sessions, and GUI desktop, and then at the same time, file managers and program managers, and then a lot of CD to downloads directly, and then check the file that was I downloaded. I changed the permission by typing change mode 7, let's say 44 star Anaconda star. That already changed the permission. Originally, it was like change mode 644 Anaconda. That was the permission. So it would be like this, ls -l. You can do a stat on Anaconda. You can see the permissions 6 read write but not execute permission. So I need to change the permission. You could do change mode 7 and then 44 or 755. 755 gave everybody executable permission, but only write execute by the owner. So this one will just do this, and then notice that 7 is read write execute for the owner, and then read and execute is 5, and read and execute is 5 for group and others. So I just did that one. Now I'm going to say I have a space on the /home about 9.1 gig, and this the software required about 7 gig. So file Anaconda. This is a bash or Bourne shell script. So if I say head minus 5, the first line of Anaconda you can see is Bourne shell /bin sh, which means if I do which sh Bourne shell file user bin sh is a symbolic link to bash, and my default shell is bash. ID-un is there, get dash n password, and then symbolic, backtick ID-un. You can see I'm logged on as Wahid. My default shell is bash there. So what I need to do is just clear the screen and say run Anaconda and run this one. It says, do you want to just press enter? I say yes. And then read all these options, and then at some point you acknowledge, say that the license is good. Now it's going to prompt you that you want to install it on this home Wahid Anaconda 3. You say yes, go ahead and install it. That's accepting it, and then file or directory already exists. Okay, so use the -u option there. So if I run it last time, because there was not enough space, I had to clean up the space. It just did this one. So I'm going to say rm -rf home Wahid Anaconda 3, and then I just clean it up. Now under home Wahid, I have all other directory but not Anaconda. So I clean it up that way. So now I'm going to run the script again. It's going to just say, go ahead, press this, and then I'm going to continue, and then say yes, continue. That's the right path. Go ahead and install it. Now it's unpacking it. This time it did it, but let's say due to an handled exception, failed to execute the script entry point. So something failed, but why it failed? Because most likely the file we downloaded on Windows platform and then uploaded here, and it does not have some of the cookies per session. Like here, it says mod 5 checksum. Some of those ones did not pass, unfortunately, due to undealt exception. So now what I'm going to do is go to the original state of doing this. I'm going to remove this one, Anaconda, because we have this option. Now if I say /home, you can see it's 9.1 gig available, but I'm going to become root here, ID-un. I'm Wahid, so I'm going to say sudo su dash and then log in as root with sudo privilege. Why I'm doing that one, I'll tell you in a second. So right here now I'm logged on here. I say DNF provides. I want to just see what is Chromium. So I say Chromium dash browser. With Chromium browser, yesterday on the Rocky Red Hat, not the Rocky Red Hat, on Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9, I was able to just download the Chromium using DNF. So I'm going to do DNF install Chromium, but this command is detecting, saying what is the software that provides the repository. Under EPAL, this is Chromium 13.131 is the one that I need to do installation. So that's how you find out what is the package name that provides Chromium browser. So I say DNF install Chromium, then since that's sufficient enough, I don't need to put the subversion, the version number. It's gonna try to find that one, and it is going to install it here. And when it then installs the Chromium, I will use the Chromium to just basically go to anaconda.org website and agree with the license, so I can download the license into the download directory here. Let's just first make sure that Chromium browser is getting installed, and this is how you do it. We did a DNF provides a space a Chromium dash browser. It gave us the package name, and now we're just installing it. With DNF install on the package name. It's going to take a little bit. It's 48 out of 48, so it should be done soon. And then I'm just gonna not pause it. Hopefully it will be done very fast. Yeah, it's done now fast. So I'm gonna say DNF list and then Chromium dash whatever browser, what is it? Actually not the Chromium browser, Chromium itself, 31 is some name. And you can see that package is now there, and this package is there. If I say which Chromium dash browser, then I could see the binary there. And this is the, like I do RPM minus QA, group minus I Chromium. You can see that the package name is there, Chromium dash common in 131. The 131 was the one that I installed it. So if I say tail minus one, that one is giving me the second one. I could say while read a var do and say RPM minus QL and then $var and then rep minus I bin and then done. You can see that Chromium browser is in that package name. So you can also just put a echo which package name, and then the package name word that was coming here because I picked it up, we could have it on the board. So this is how you do this one. You say, for example, where I say do RPM minus QA. So right here, I could say one more syntax, say that, and then after the do, I say echo, and then say the package name is and $var, and then semicolon before the RPM. Run it and notice that it says the package name is Chromium 131. And then right there it says user bin Chromium browser. So we did find it, and then now I'm going to exit out of here, say which Chromium dash browser, and that is going to provide me that binary and ID-UN. I logged on here, and then slash home wahid downloads is currently empty. You can see nothing there. So Chromium dash browser, and then this one, sorry, let me just go to my home directory first. And remember the Anaconda, somehow it did not complete. The Anaconda did not complete, and there's some files that are done. Well, I'm going to remove everything here, rm minus rf, Anaconda 3, and then that is now gone. I just have to say disk usage slash home, see how much space I have, 8.8 gig, and that's good. And then I just say now I could also clear some cache if I have to just do that again for the DNF. But now we have done this one, 8.8 is good enough. We need only 7 gig, I believe. So I'm going to just say, let's become one more times root. I'm going to become root sudo su and then say log in here, and I say DNF clean cache, clean DB cache, DB I think it is, and then notice that expire cache, DB cache, and then all those are the arguments to it. So I could say DB cache, and then also 18 files, and then let's do all. I just don't want to waste too much of my time and just cleaning up. So 8.8 to 8.9 gig, that's good enough. So let's just do now exit out here and say start the browser. So I'm going to say which Chromium dash browser, since it's there on the user bin directory, I could simply type in Chromium dash browser. Chromium dash browser. Browser. So now this one comes in and it just open the default one. I'm going to go to HTTPS anaconda.org website. HTTPS anaconda.org. Okay, so this one takes you to Anaconda. I accept that. When you accept these terms and the other ones, then you have to still say I'm not a robot. Then register. I don't want to register actually. I'm not a robot, and then say go ahead onto the download page. Let's say download Anaconda, and then allow me to download it. Now again, accept this one now. This time the hyperlink should be available. You see this? It is available. So I can skip the registration and then I get to the download page, and then that's success. That means I can come and download a Mac or Windows or Linux. In this case, I'm on a Rocky Linux. I could download the 64-bit version, and that is getting downloaded here. While this one is downloaded, I want to show you under the command prompt. So under the command prompt, if I just click on this plus here and this opening while the other one is in session because I started Chromium browser. So here I do ID-UN and then I want to just show you the download directory. This file getting downloaded, you can see this usage minus sh and the size of the file. It is still not completed yet. So this is still going on there. This usage minus sh star. Now it's about 2 gig already downloaded. So let's see if it is 11.1, it's going to run out of space. This usage minus sh, yeah, 1.1 gig. So that is good. Let's see, disk is, I think it is done. Yeah, it is done. So that download completed. You can see also here the download, it is completed, 1 gig done. You know that it is done, so that's good. So right on the command prompt here, one more time here, on the command prompt, I don't need this browser anymore. I could just minimize it here or just close it. I could just close it. And then notice on the session that I was there, I could just go here again. Since I closed the browser, it that did that one. So what am I showing you now is that the download directory has the file that I need. File star, you can see it as bash Bourne shell. I showed you head -1 of the Anaconda. This one is just Ben sh. And Ben sh is symbolic link to user Ben bash. You can see that it's symbolic link to bash. And then so I need to install it. But in order to install it, this file is not executable. So if I say like this, Anaconda, it's not going to take it with the tab. So that means that I need to change the permission. I could change the permission multiple ways. So I'm going to do the shorter version, 755 start. And then this is giving me a read, write, execute by owner, and read and execute by group and others also. So now I have it there. I'm going to say Anaconda, go ahead and install it. And I'm going to press enter and then accept the license. And then right here, say yes, accept the license. That's the directory. It is installing it on Anaconda. Since we did not have a space, the last time it was installing it, I had to clean it up and create the space. Now we accept it, say go ahead and install it there. That prefix is saying that it's going to unpack the Anaconda there, and then once it is done, it will be available for me to just go ahead and do this. So let's see, it's 24% done. So the software gets installed on our home Wahid Anaconda 3. While this one is running here, I could just show you on this directory under Anaconda 3. And then you can see this, these files are getting updated, the packages, condas, and all that things. So when this is all done, and I will have the Anaconda binaries, and all the binaries would be under the Anaconda 3 bin directory on Linux, and then on PowerShell is under the scripts directory. But the Anaconda Navigator will be there as a binary. Spider will be there, Jupyter Lab would be there, Jupyter Notebook will be there, and any other software like Visual Studio Code and other ones, PyCharm, that you could download also will be in there and install if you did install them. If it is not available, you could install it, and if it's available, you can launch them and start them. And notice that Conda is very similar to pip. So pip is the default version for Python. The package indexing for Python or Python package indexing is pip, and the default one. It has a lot of hundreds of thousands of modules that people have already written since Python came along, and that's the default one. It's much, much larger than the Conda. However, on the Conda, you have multiple environment that you can just develop, whether it's Python, C, C++, and other languages. So the Anaconda is a little bit in that way it's different. And also Anaconda has channels that could do it. So here it's saying that you could do this, and this is the default one. It says you can always undo it. And then Conda and Net, reverse, and the other options, you could do this. If you just do this one at the time, or you just go by the default and say no, I'll show you how to continue on. Right here, I have not started Conda here. So if I say Conda, it's not going to understand some of the work, and then at this, actually it did. It says install packages, and so I'm not gonna just say that one, say Conda list, and then oh yeah, actually this is DNF. So whenever the package is not identified, and DNF provides you to do that one. But what I could do is say, okay, this is the option Conda and Net. So I need to set up my environment to say, okay, go to Anaconda directory, and then now my Anaconda stuff is here. Remember, I told you that under the bin, all the binaries are there. So under the bin, there's one file called Conda, and there's one called Spider, and there's one called, let's say I do ls rather than that. I say, show me Conda, Conda-navigator, Spider, Jupyter, and then Jupyter Star, which would be Jupyter Dash Lab, Jupyter Dash Notebook, and all of that. So you can see the ones that are installed. You can see the list of them. Jupyter, I mistyped it, so that's why it does not show. but Jupyter dash star, it should give you all of that one, right? If you type in Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Kernel, all of that, console and everything, and then the spiders, everything. So all of those binaries are available. If I just store the extern here, I could run those ones. And so in order to run those ones, this time I could say conda list, and this will just run conda stuff. Conda list Python, you could see that I mistyped it. Sorry, I did not mistype it. I have not initialized it. So conda dot slash list Python will give me the information. But at this time, I want to just initialize it. So my bash or C script gets updated there. So what I need to do is say dot slash conda init one time. This will just set up my conda environment. So the base is going to be set up for my conda. Now I have done this one. I'm just basically, you can see here, it just says, I just modified the .bash or C file for Wahid. So I'm on this directory. If I say CD, there's a file called .bash or C here. And that notice the timestamp of that file is that correctly updated there. So if I say grep minus I dot hash or C, you can see, I'm sorry, grep minus I conda dot bash or C, you see that that is the file that is there. So if I just open another terminal, and let's say I just click on this new terminal, say open a new terminal, automatically it runs my bash or C, and it opens a base package here. So now I type in conda list, I don't have to be on that directory, it is going to work. But here, because I have not sourced this one, and so if I say conda list, here is just still prompt me that. Now, in order to make it active on this session, I could say source dot bash or C. Now I'm going to drop to base, conda list would work. It's not going to prompt me to say install it. So whether you just open a new terminal or source your bash or C, your conda environment is now ready because you did a conda init at bin directory at one point. And now every terminal that I open, I will have the conda running there. So like notice that here the base is there. So if I say conda info, it's giving me all the information about conda, all of that information, right? So if I say, what about conda info dash E for environments, just to see I have a base environment. If I say dash dash envs, that will also give me the same thing, environment. So you could type in the short version dash E or dash dash envs. You could also do dash dash system to get the system. For short version, you could do dash S. Or you could say dash dash JSON to get the JSON format. So you can see the conda, the JSON information that is coming. It's the dictionary with some list. You can see in the dictionary start here, compare value right here, and then the list that goes right, starting right here is the list, and then so on. The dictionary, compare value again, and then the list again, all the way to the end, and you get the system information. So if I say that, okay, well, for this one, I need to get help on it. How do you memorize these commands? You could do conda info dash dash help, and it gives you all the parameters that I just told you, dash E, dash envs, dash S, dash system, dash dash verbose to get more verbose information. And the command is endless, right? If you just type in conda by itself, you get a list of all the things that you can do with conda. And then conda list dash 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 help will give you after the list what you can do. Like you can do search for regular expression is also accepted. So if I say conda list dash list, and then back tick, and then Python, not backtick, and core Python with Py, it will just go give that one. But if I say Python, then it says start with Python, but I don't care what is the rest of them. If I just say only show me this version, and that's 3.12, then I could say ends with $, meaning that there's an enter after the Python. So now it's 3.12.17, which is this one. So if I say which Python, then I have it under Anaconda, the base, which I am there. And then I could also say on this directory, if I say go to ls file, and this one, you can see this one is copy and paste that one. So you can see it's Python 3.12. And if I say Python dash dash version, it tells me 3.12 there. I could say pep dash dash version. You can see that it's the version is 24 for Python 3.12. And if I say conda dash dash version, you can get that one. Python 3 dash V uppercase will also do the same thing. So now, how do I know that I'm using the one that is there? Which Python, you could see that is that path, and that's my path. So if I say go to Python, you can see that it is opening 3.12.7. And then if I say import sys module, sys.path, you can see that it is the Anaconda Python 3.12 there under home Wahid directory. So if I say sys.executable, you can see the path of Anaconda 3 bin Python, which is from the base one. And then at the same time, sys.modules is huge. All the modules that are there. Sys.platform would say Linux, sys version, and give you the version information 3.12, version info, the major and minor information. So there's a lot of them. If I just look for dir sys, you can see all these attributes and property that's available within that module, and that is listed there. I just showed you a few of them. And so at this time, if we just say, okay, that's great, I know that the version, can I import OS module and say os.system and run conda list, and then search for backtick of, on core of Python, and then just the $, see if that syntax is recognized inside os.system. You could do that one and then close it. And when you run it, it just actually works. And so now you know that that's the version of Python, and like sys.version was giving us 3.12 also. That's how you could do it. And then sys.executable, and we saw that it's the binary version there. So you could do also like on this one, instead of the OS version, you could say Python dash version, that would give you also 3.12. There's many ways you can see these options there. And now let's see if, like for example, how do you install a package or something? So if I say it's pandas is there. So let's see, we say pandas. If pandas is installed there, yes, it is installed. So then I could say it's version 2.2. I say import pandas as PD. Now PD dot $_ version is just giving me 2.24. If I need to know what other packages under the pandas that are show versions and any other packages related to pandas, and then I could get their version also with show versions. So the show version is a good method. So if I see that one, pd.show version, I could say type of pd.show versions. It tells me it's a function. That means I have to use, when I do it, I have to use this left parenthesis, right parenthesis there to get the version information. Okay, and so, and then notice that show version, it give you in this format, by default is a kind of key pair value as a human readable. But that argument, if we just are looking for it, by default, this one is the default option is AS as a JSON is false. False. That one is giving you that format. Is not colon equal. Equal, and then you see this there. If you change that one to true, the value, that means that show me in a JSON format. So it will give you JSON format, same output, that output. And if you just, instead of putting this one, you could also just do, that's a default variable, that's value is true. You could do that one, or you just type in false to just get the default one option that we got earlier. You could also not specify anything, and you will get the default one. Okay, so that is for this. And now if you say, how do I know that that function is kind of available there? You could just do something like this to say for item in dir of PD, okay, dir of PD, and then if you do just the dir of PD here, dir of PD, it shows you all of the methods and attributes and functions and everything that is there. And then show version or something like show versions is one of the function there. So remember we said type of panda.show underscore versions. This one was saying that it is a function. So if I just want to say, let me just find out if there's anything with version related information. We saw those ones in like anything with version or anything with show. Let's do this. Let's say for item in dir of PD, then you say if the string show, or you just remember show, it was in item or the string version. I know it was versions, but I'm going to just write short enough to just say if it finds those two, and then just say print it, print the item. And right there, you could see that show version was one of them, and version underscore measure and double underscore version also. I did that earlier. Panda double underscore version. That is the dunder method. We call it. Oh, it's one version. Let me see. I must have typed in version and accurate. That always should work. Yeah. So I'm gonna exit out of this one. I'm gonna say, well, we did the panda stuff here. We could install a NumPy, for example, if it is not there. At this time, I just I'm on the base, and I said, let's see what channels are available. You could say conda, and then say show conda config -- show, and then we see channels. This is going to show you the channel, and by default, the base channel or default main is there, but I'm going to add a channel by using the --add, and then again, the help on conda config --help would give you all these options. So you can say channel, and then say conda -forge. This is a very good channel that I just added. And now with the forge, it is a lot of things are available for us. You see conda forge. So now if I say conda search and then numpy, For example, search for NumPy, it finds it on the base, it finds it on Conda Forge. So you can also install a particular version of a package or Python or something from those channels. You can see the channels here is a package main and Conda Forge and so on, a lot of them, right? You can see that the one there for NumPy there. So if I just have Conda list and NumPy that is already installed, and then I don't need to just install it again. But I could do Conda remove and NumPy or something. I could do that on Conda remove and uninstall is the option to it. So whether you do Conda or PEP, the arguments are similar. On one you do a PEP list, and the other one do Conda PEP list. Conda install or PEP install, followed by package name. So those options are very similar. What I'm going to do is ignore this option, whatever is asking me to do at this time. I don't need to do that. At this time, let's just look for those binaries. So which extern, first I have extern already and a GUI. If I just open extern, notice it just nicely open an extern session. I could do it. Or I could just type in which spider, because my display is already set, echo $sign display is already with the extern, and the extern I could put different colors, extern minus background, and let's say put kind of pound 35. That's like darkish red, 00 for green, 00 for blue, minus foreground, and then I'm gonna put pound FFF. 3 Fs are equivalent to 6F, which is white color, and then minus font face, which is I'm gonna put in New York. I like that, and then minus font size, I'm gonna do 13, and I'm gonna background it. So now you see that says a bigger screen. I'm gonna change that 13 to like 11 or 10. 10 is good enough. It's not too big. So now you can see it's that color is there. If I wanted a little bit darker than this, darkish red, I could just change this one to 25. And the darker you go, the number is darker. The lighter the number is the lighter color. The higher the number, not that lighter. So here we did that one now. Which spider, you can see a spider is there. So I change that color to spider. I'm going to open up spider, and it's going to just run it there very nicely. So dismiss this one, and then I can start coding here. Notice here, all of these the ones are just by default there. You can clean it up and say shebang, user pen, env, Python, and then say for let's say num in range, a range of let's go to the first one through 6. 5 is not included, so that would be increment by 1 itself. So starting with 1, we say 1 to 5, and it stops at 6. 5 is printed, but 6 is not. So say print, and then we say the F string, and then we say hello world, and then just and I need to put let me just close this one right here. When we say the F string, I need to just say put the number and then followed by colon, so we know number 1, number 2, number 3. So when you run this one, if you just press enter here and then say run it, and this is going to say, do you want to run it? I say yes. Notice the output is coming on this console here. So here, whatever command you type in here, You could just do commands here also, pwd. I'm on that directory and I say on that list, and then Python. I could run it and see the list of Python. If I do the backtick here, not backtick, core, and then $sign, and then I could say um, only show me the Python stuff, and then it will tell you what's the 3 point disk. You can also say Python dash dash version. So you run the code there. That this output now, if I just want to plot something, I could do the plot here also. So if I say import matplot lib.pyplot as PLP, and then right here I could just say let's just import numpy, import a numpy as NP, and then we just create an array right here. Say an array of numpy dot array of let's say array, and then we create a list. The list would be any numbers that you want to do. Let's just say my list or something here, and then my list is here that you could just generate my list here as equal, and then we say x for x in range of let's say we start with 2 comma range of 2 to 10, increment by 2. So or start with 0, let's say 0 and to 10, and then increment by 2. That's even numbers, right? So you could do that one, and then that would create my list, and then just give that list to the array as argument, and then at this time we say let's say plt.plot, and then a, actually yeah, the array is 8, and then we just say plt.show, and then a. Let's see if that works, or I have to correct something. So I'm gonna say run it, and then do that one. Go to the plot, and right there is the graph there. If I just want to change something, obviously I can change something. But notice that how easy it is to just see it on the plot, and everything available for you there. The output is there, right? So it's cool. It has a lot of nice features. This one, a Spider is one of them, the IDE that you could use. And then if I just exit out of this one, say quit here, and then I could have saved that information or something. I could do this one. And if I just want to say, yeah, come back here, this time just to start like a different color, say 00, start with 30 for darkish green, that would be darkish green. And then if I wanted darker than that one, I could just say maybe 20 is good for it. So that's darker, that's the color I like. So I keep it here, and then I could say, start Jupyter Lab here. Jupyter Lab, and it's gonna just open Jupyter Lab, and then this time it's going to just open on port 8888, localhost, which is the loopback interface. You could go localhost or that, and then at this time you notice that the notebook console and other ones are there. I could also open a terminal to run the commands from the terminals, and then say pwd hostname uname -a cat -m etc os -release. All of that one over there, and then clear screen and say, okay, what about conda list? All of those commands works. Pep list works. Everything that you could do is working here. So exit out of this one and say, how about we do it from Jupyter Lab and the cell? So notice the cell default theme is white, and I could change it to theme of darker, and now the theme is darker. I could say, well, I could see better now. Would you like to get notified about official Jupyter news? No, I just don't need those stuff. So at this time, if I just say, okay, let's just say run a command here, say Conda list to see how that command runs here. Notice that here I actually don't need to do that one. This is just a console. I need to open a new one, and then I say open a Python stuff. I can name this one to save it as something. And then normally this file, whatever is the extension, this is interactive Python notebook. That's what that name is. So by default, if I just go here and say open a console window under the terminal, and then I say pwd ls-ltr, notice that file is there, untitled. So file store.i IPython notebook, then you can see that this JSON data. So cat -n untitled dot IPython notebook. You can see this is the cells that is empty right now. It only has these elements. But as I'm writing code here on this one, it will do it. And if I save this one, I say save file as save notebook has. Right here, I could just say, let's say, I could say, what is it? Say, Conda, not Conda. Actually, we could say Conda demo dot IPython. So whatever we say Conda demo, then we save it. Now we have this one and say save it. And then right under the setting here, this auto save documentation is available. So if you just did this one, you could also make sure that you save it. You say save all, so you don't lose anything. But when auto save is there, usually it is backing up if you run the cell. But make sure that when you run the cell, if it prompts you that the changes is not saved, you want to save it, make sure you save it if you make some changes of more than one line, and you need to keep that one for whatever reason that you want to do that one. It's up to you. So here I'm going to do one more thing. So I'm just going to say import pandas as PD, and then say, okay, let's create as x is equal, and then we say x for x in range of 100, just to do that one, and then fx mod 5 is equal 0. So we want to just say if it is divisible by 5, then just generate this x. Now, if I run this x, notice that it's gonna just look for something. I made a typo. The for I mistyped pro, and now it's corrected. So now I say just between 0 to 100, incremented by 5. But if I want the numbers shorter, I could say do it by 10. And so now divisible by 10, now is the numbers shorter, it fits there. So I don't need to do this x. I could say now create a series 1 is equal, and say pd dot series. Series is kind of like one-dimensional array of elements, or those elements, or 0 sub 0 is pointing to the first one, and then 10 is going to be element number 1, and so on. So I'm going to print this one. Now, if I say print S1, you can see that it is just that. And then if I say, give me the type of what is one, type of S1 is going to say it's a panda series. And there. And then at the same time, I could just generate like other elements. But if I want to plot that one, obviously I could do the same thing like last time we did. But this time, let's just show you a data frame. How do I create a data frame on the on this, which is like here S1 dot shape. It is one dimensional. So the shape is an attribute of Panda. You can see it's 10 elements. So S1 sub 10 would be 95 or whatever was the number there. Let's see. whatever was the, sorry, S1, sorry, I have to just close this one, and somehow I mistype something. Okay, so let me get the S1 first, see what are the values of it. You can see it's sub 9. So it would be out of range if you do 10, because the last element is 9, and 9 is 90, and 80 would be 80, and so on. So you can get the last element also by saying -1 here. So this is whatever is applied to list that does not actually apply here. But maybe column 1 to 5 and say, give me the first element through the fourth element, and then you can see those ones. And then, so you could get those information. And you can also create a data frame. A data frame is like a table, rows and columns. So I could say data frame is equal, and then I could just say numpy, and I didn't create a load numpy. So let's just do numpy rather than array here again with a list. I'm gonna say import numpy as np, and then we say np np.array, and then we could just create a two-dimensional array or a list or um, anything. You could do a lot of stuff here. So let's say we could call it a dictionary value of say A is equal, that is the column name, and then we say the values or a list of 1, 2, 3, 3 elements. And then also followed by another one, which would be B, and then values is equal, and then let's say we're gonna do 10, 20, 30. Doesn't matter what number you choose, it's your choice. And now we're gonna do the dictionary, closing it, and then closing the array, and then say the df itself to just print df, and then you can see here, this is an array of A and this. So if I say df dot columns, and then you print that one, you get all the columns of it, df dot columns. Let's see, df dot, actually, we haven't done, this is just, I'm not gonna call it df, this not a data frame. I'm gonna call it this two-dimensional array. So we're gonna say y, whatever we call it, doesn't matter. So now y is going to just print that value of rows or 1 through 4, and columns or there also, but we have to actually the value of them first. Let me correct myself. The way we define it, y sub 0 would be the first row, and that y sub 0. Let's see. Oh, this is a type of y. Let me just see this array of y type of it to see if we created a data structure of data type of integer and this one. So, and this is the value. And then let me delete this one, the series. I don't need this one. I will just print this one. And you see numpy.nd array. So if I say y.shape, to see the shape of it, you could see what it is there. Y type, not a type of it. I'm just going to say y.shape. If that attribute is with it, it should give us, but it did not. Shape is not defined, so that is not part of that shape. But what you could do is create a data frame first. Say now pd panda dot data frame, and then pass on y as the argument here. So now we say df.shape, and then run this one, and it's giving us an error. Let's see why. And df.shape, because we did not specify columns in there. So I'm gonna say columns, comma, columns is equal, and then I'm gonna say, actually it is not the shape that I want, so I'm going to just reformat it. Let's just do this one first. Because we did it a different way and the frame. I'm gonna say, let's format this one as two list of two-dimensional, two rows and three columns. And so that would be this, two rows and three columns, and then, and instead of this, I'm gonna put it into another bracket. Now, put the Y has a data frame here, and then we are gonna say, comma, columns, columns, and then is equal, let's call it call here, calls, and then we define calls to be on a list of elements with calls being call one, call call two, and call three. So that is how you define it. Now columns is equal call, and then now we do this one. Let's see. Still something is not right. What is the error? NumPy dot array of this to, okay. So this is one NumPy dot array this, and then I did that one. Data frame calls is equal columns, and df.shape calls is not defined. So why is calls is not, oh, and there's an equal sign is missing here. I thought that I put an equal sign here, but I didn't. So that's why calls is not defined. Now it should work. So now you can see it is the name of the columns are there. So if I want to say the shape is two rows and three columns, right? And then at this time, if I say df sub 0, the first row is going to give me the output of that, and then you could see df the sub 0. Let's just do df df dot call call 1. So we first check on the call 1. You could see that it's giving me that, and then df call 2 would give me a second column, and df call 3 would give me a third column. So if I want to get the sub 0, the one that the way earlier I wrote, I say df, and then I could also say call like this, call 3 or call 2. That would just give me the column name that is already there. And then another way you could do it is say, for the number of rows, since it's a 2-dimension, I have to put 2 dimensions. So if I want to get the first row, that would be this. So let's see, this at this time, and df sub 0. Okay, so I need to use the log, and this I could say row 0, comma column 0. Column is not column cannot be 0. Column has to be starting with 1. So that will give me that dimension, but then I have to use the subarray. I'm sorry, not subarray, 2-dimension. So this is how you correct that one. You just do this, and then put this, and then that one. So meaning that first row and second column print that one. It is still not there. Let me just do iLook for it. df.ilook. That should find it, but let's see. Yeah, df.ilook is that integer location, so you could search it like that too. And then if I say there was column 2 also, I could get column 2 here. And then if I wanted to say, but since there's 2 rows, I could say 0 and 1, and then show me more than 1. That I have to be valid on this one for the row. It is not showing up. Let me see if this might be syntax of I look like that. Yeah. So you could say 0 to 1 and then do that one and then do this one. 0 to 2 row followed by the column. So the first 2 row. And then the number of columns, how many you want to include is I included column 2. I could say 2 comma let's say 1 comma 2 comma 3. 3 columns should be included. And this one, since it is there, I have to put it in the list format. Then now I should find it. Let's see. 1 actually through 3 column 3. That is slicing. So you could do like that. Column 2 and 3 as starting. If you want a column, did I type in 3 twice? If I want to call start with 0, that is the first one, and then up to the last one, and so that is there. And then let's see if we do 0 column 0, then column 1 will be included. So you could do something like this ones with the data frame also. And notice on the data frame, you have a lot of stuff. df.columns that are earlier I told you, you could search for it and you get the columns. df.index, you will get the indexes. And then df.info, you get more information on the all the data types and everything. df.describe is a good function. You could do that one to describe it, and then you can see the details on there. So df.head would give you the first 5 rows by default, and if you have only 2 rows, you get the 2 rows. If you want only 1 row, you just stay 1 here. If you wanted the tail of that, you could do that too. Tail of this one also, you do that. So there's a lot of methods here that you can play around, but these are the options that you can do. Inside here, you could also run Python code by doing bang, exclamation mark, and then say the system command name. So like if I say, show me the PWD, semicolon, and then ls at the same time, run those 2 commands. It says you're on this directory, and this is your binary stuff. You could say, okay, PWD, you don't have to do PWD every time. You could say conda list, and then let's say Python, and then followed by the end line, and then say that it is ending. It starts with something, but then ends with this. Then you can see all the Python that ends with the letter Python. If you want to minimize it to just only Python, you could have put a back encore here, and then now it's going to only show the Python there. And if you say, what about the Python version dash dash version, you can see that one also. So a lot of good stuff on Jupyter Lab. Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook is very similar. Jupyter Lab is an enhanced version of it. So use Jupyter Lab rather than Jupyter Notebook, but it's your choice. So I'm going to exit out of this one. We showed you enough stuff. Or you could even run the commands here to just do something on the fly. So let's just create one more thing here. I'm going to demo something here useful for you. Remember, we said which xdg-open. Remember that one was installed there. The binary is there. So I'm going to close the browser, and this one I say leave the. Oh, I just actually closed this one rather than that one, but that's okay. I'm just gonna log in, Control C here, and say yes, and then let's just get back to it and say go ahead, run Jupyter Lab. It will open, and by default, it opens the last session that you're in. It saves your document because we did the autosave. So, and all the work that we did is already there. And then the file name conda this, remember, we did this one. We could also now look at the console like here. If I go in the console, say pwd ls minus lkr, remember conda dot, now do conda demo. You can see cat minus n, it showed you in line numbers, all of the Python, interactive Python code and .ipython notebook. It is because of this syntax that it has both JSON format and actually Python code, and then that's why it's called interactive Python extension. So that is one way you could do it. And then here, if I just say run that code, I could also say Python conda this. Let's see, what's the name again? Under this directory, the name was conda on and then let me just make sure that, okay. So the point on the binary is not executable here. That means I have to type in Python and then conda demo and then demo conda demo dot interactive Python notebook, and then yeah, it shows it's empty. But if I say change mode 755 and then start dot interactive Python notebook, and then I say conda this, run it. Notice that you cannot run it from the command line because that's an extension IPython, which is meaning that you have to open it on Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so here you could go under File and say open the file name, open file from the path or wherever that is, and then since I'm on that path, I could just open it, or I could say File, open, resend, and then right here conda demo. You can run it this one, and then from here you could run it no problem, and so that would work. The thing that I want to show you with the command line versus this, yeah. So right here, remember earlier I said that you could run the commands from here or just look at the content of it. You could also come in here and write a Python script and give it the extension of the terminal on this one. Like for example, which vim for VI improve is there, vim, and I could say test.py, and then we could say pound shebang, and then user ben env, and then say Python, and then say, and here you could say let's say we do anything, just say hello world, print hello world. A very simple programming, and then now I have done is say Python test.py, it just ran hello world. And the file is test.py is not executable. So if I say test.py here, it's not going to run because the permission is there. Even though cat minus n test.py has the shebang here saying that find out the Python interpreter, use the env to load it. So which env, you can see user ben env is the executable file user then env, it's executable that loads the Python interpreter, but because the permission of test.py is not set, you see that? Py, I have to do change mode u plus x and then test.py. Now the permission of test.py is executable. I could just say simply test.py and it will say hello world. If I just go vim test.py and I just say, okay, that is there, let's just add some names, say the name is equal Wahid, or let's not say Wahid, let's say my YouTube users. And then we just want to say that to hello, and instead of this, we say hello, we're going to say F string and then say hello, and then brace, and then we say a name, and then followed by that. So that will be replaced to that variable name value, and then we say shebang here, and then close it. Yeah, I think it is double quote here because we started that one. So now I save this one. Now I say clear screen cat minus n test.py. We say, okay, that's the program, and it says hello users. So you have a lot of options here, and then you can just do the same code here and just cut and paste these lines here, and then put it into the line here and execute it there. So that's how you test it. Do I want to show you more? I don't think so. I think I'm going to be done here. I'm going to exit out of this one. I want to show you Anaconda ID itself. And so I'm going to say exit out of this one. And then I'm going to Control C out of this one and say yes. Exit out of this one and then clear it screen. On the Anaconda, you could also actually go under file shutdown, and then that way you don't have to Control C out of it. But I forgot, it doesn't matter either way. I'm going to shut down the whole VM. It was a demo purpose, but on the normal way, the way you start it, you just start it like, for example, saying Anaconda, not Anaconda, say, for example, Jupyter and dash Jupyter Lab. Once let's see, Jupyter Lab, once it comes out, and then you rather than just coming in, notice this, it comes out to this local host. You can double click on it, it will do it. But once this one is done, you don't have to Control C out of it. You could say file, and then all the way down here say shut down. You say shut down, it says, do you want to shut down the system? It says yes. And now it is shut down and the program has given me the prompt back. So I told you that you can run Jupyter Lab, Spider, everything. You can also run the Anaconda dash navigator. Navigator, not this, sorry. Which Anaconda dash navigator. So you can see that binary is there. So you can say, before I start Anaconda Navigator, let me do one virtual environment. So you can also say conda list, not list, info, and then dash E. It shows that I'm on a base. I can create another environment or virtual environment. I could call them, say, conda create dash name or short dash n. I mean, it's the same thing. So I'm going to say Python 3.11, and the name of the environment. So I say install Python as 3.11. That would just get the name of the virtual environment or environment as Python 3.11, and then install Python 3.11 as the default one. Rather than going to accept the latest one, which is 3.12, or maybe if it's 3.13 someday, it will just be that. So you just say, go ahead and install it, Now notice that it creates that environment for me. And it is going through one of those channels to install everything. Well, most likely is conda-forge. And so now it is done. In order to activate that one, it says that you can do conda activate pi 311. But I need to show you conda info and dash E. You will see now you have base and 311. Since I have 311, I could say conda activate pi 311, and now I'm on pi 311 virtual environment here. So if I say conda list and then encore and then Python and then $sign ending, see the version should be 311, and it is 311. So I could also say Python dash dash version, it will show that 311. Also, I could say go to Python and then import sys module, sys.executable. You can see that the version is 3.11. Sys.version will give me that version. Sys.version info, major and minor information is there. Sys.path, you can see the path is the virtual environment for T11. And sys.platform obviously is Linux. So sys.modules is all the list for 3.11. Import os.system, and then pep list. You could see this is the pep list. You could run it and then conda list and give you a much bigger list because we installed a lot of them. And then if I do a word count on it, word count minus L, you can see that it's there. But pep by default has a lot of packages that depend on what you install on which one. It is not that conda is bigger, pep is bigger. So I'm gonna quit out of here. I'm gonna just go back here. We already showed you the, let me just ignore this one. Sorry, I did not see that thing for a while till I moved up. So here we could do a switch Anaconda dash navigator, Anaconda dash navigator. So if you don't type it correctly, it says Anaconda dash navigator. It does not find it. Let me see which Anaconda dash navigator. It's not there because I'm inside this pi 11. In order to get out of this one, go back to the base because I installed Anaconda and at the base, I'm gonna say conda deactivate. And now I'm on the base, conda list, not conda list, sorry. I could say conda info dash E. You can see the base is there, 311, but I have to be inside the base. So if I say which Anaconda dash navigator, Anaconda dash navigator, you can see now it shows up. So I type in Anaconda dash navigator, Anaconda dash navigator. Sorry for the letters, it's a little bit acting like Anaconda. All right, so it is opening Anaconda. When it opens, and all those IDEs that you wanted is available for you, including PyCharms that you want installed, Visual Studio Code that you want installed, or if it is already installed, like Spider and Jupyter Lab and other ones, you just start them. And see, don't show this. I don't want it. Here, that the screen is there. I'm going to resize the screen here. We could go to the display setting and just change the screen because it's too big. So I could just change the size of it to like maybe this one. It would be small, but it's not too small. So I'm gonna just do that one with 200 maybe, and then close this one, and then say apply. And now my resolution is changed. I'm gonna say keep it. And now this interface, notice, is much nicer. It's manageable. So I'm going to close this. I'm inside the Anaconda Navigator. And as you can see on Anaconda Navigator, it has PyCharm, Anaconda Toolbox, Anaconda Command Prompts, and Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, and then IPython Interactive, and then much more, Visual Studio Code and R Studio and everything, right? So I have R Studio here. I could also install R Studio here on the Anaconda if I want to. If it is not installed, they give you a button to just install it, and if you want to launch it, you could just launch the one that is already installed for you. You can also go under environment here and then just create the environment. Notice that I created this virtual environment by 311 earlier. I made the size too small, and then let's see if we can just accept that that's okay. We could just go back on the home, and then let's say I click on the spider, it will just open the spider software if I just launch it here. So that is how easy it is to use all of these tools and just do your work. I hope you enjoyed this video and you start learning and work on it. So I'm gonna close this one. And if you have to do something like other than that, make sure that the size is manageable so you can see it, or just go here, say display setting again, and then change the size a little bit differently. So we did this, and I think that's too small. Let's go to 920 by 1080. Yeah, okay, there's another size here. I could go to maybe 1280 by 10. Let's just do that. And then we say okay, and then keep this changes. Now this time it's more easier read. So right here you can see the Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook. And then for the environment, now this time, if I click on this one, you can see Pi 311 is there, my environment, and then you can see all the modules under it. So you could use the GUI, or you could just use the prompt and their command prompt the way I showed you. And then I don't want to just force quit it. So you can see here some of other options that are there. Let's see what other tools are there. And there's a lot of other packages that you could get or install them, okay? So that is Anaconda, and then quit out of this one, say yes, I don't need it, and you're back to this one. But this screen is way too small for this one. You could do Control-Shift+ and make it bigger, and then clear screen here, PWD, ls-l, clear screen, and say, let's just say, have a nice day or something. You say, I'm on the bash here. I could say for let's go sequence, for example, 10, right? So it gives you 10 numbers, and that fits on this screen. I could say for num and $, and then sequence at 10, and then I'm gonna say do echo good and $, the $I, and followed by good by, and have uh, have a nice holiday, love and peace to all, right? We could say that there, and then holiday, and then love and peace. So if I just do that one and then say done, it's gonna say that. Okay. You guys have a good one. Which laugh out loud. Okay. Is there? Yeah, that binary I have installed it. So you could do also this, the for statement. You did this one and then make it colorful. You could just say laugh out loud chat and then run this one and it's gonna make a different color nicely. And then every time you run it, it's just a different color set. Take care. God bless you all. I'm going to end this video and then I'm going to shut down this session and say log out, say log out and log out here. And then after you're done with this one, you're gonna power off. And so right here, power off and then power on. See how simple it is using Red Hat and Linux and a graphical interface. And then I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned it. I hope you go to my channel and subscribe. And so now this thing is power off. I'm gonna close this one. I don't need this the download directory. I don't need this browser, anything. I could close all of that and close this. And then this nice interface comes in. Take care and remember to subscribe our channel, which is this one, and then also in 4C if you're Persian and trying to understand those ones in 4C. Okay, take care. Bye.